Facebook Live should expire. Just gotta go back. Okay. We're calling it coast to coast cooking. Stand by.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my go lang pa ba.
Mic test. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome down. It's a Saturday evening. And since we've been on this lockdown, we've been trying to do these conversations every now and then. So I thank you for joining us. And we're taking a break from all the politics and all the corona and everything else that has been giving us a headache for a while. And so this evening, we're going to be welcoming again to the Go Mosley Facebook page, Chef Kashif Browne. Of course, he is an executive chef, Guyanese, living in the US. And so that's where he'll be joining us from. And we're going to be cooking up something special. Well, at least he's going to be cooking up something special for Father's Day, a big day tomorrow. So first of all, Kashif, a very happy Father's Day to you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I am
Thank you
doing
very much.
well.
Yeah.
So I know the last time we did this, you made a big fancy dessert that everyone has been trying to make since. Not sure.
Yeah, just a normal ice cream sandwich, you know.
That's the normal ice cream sandwich for you. For other persons, it was a task. But you want to really bring down the house tonight in cooking. You're going to prepare a big meal for Father's Day. So first of all, tell us what the menu is looking like and some of the items you'll be using.
Sure. So I'm a big lover of steak and any kind of seafood. So I decided that I'll be preparing tonight. I'll be doing a steak, an Eldorado steak. You'll see why. And then I'll show you the cut of steak that I'm using as well. And then tomorrow I'll be preparing lobster for lunch. But I'll
Oh,
be doing some of the preparation of the lobster today so you can get a feel of exactly what I'll be doing. Um, I'll be doing a lot of grilled vegetables and potatoes as the starch.
oh,
And that's basically it. Yeah.
no rice again?
No rice, no rice.
Uh, guy, he's like the rice they're asking when Kashif doing a nice rice, some kind of rice. But I'm glad that you're gonna mix it up.
Yeah, yeah. Monday to Friday, like I said, is rice or roti, and then on the weekends I try to, when I guess it should be the opposite
Yeah.
way around.
All right, so we're ready. Lots of folks are already tuned in for you to take us through the paces this evening with
All right.
this steak meal. It's something that people can actually do for Father's Day because Father's Day is a big day, and fathers and men generally like that steak.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So if you take a look here, I have they called what they call a cowboy steak or a tomahawk steak. So this piece is basically from the rib hold on. I'm losing. Give me 1 second, Gordon.
Okay, I'm
One
right.
second.
Yeah, well, in case you're now joining us, we're talking with Chef Kashif Browne. He's a Guyanese-born chef in the U.S., and this is called Coast to Coast Cooking. He's in the U.S. We're in Guyana, and he's going to be whipping up something for Father's Day. So get out your little notebook, get out your pen and paper in case you might want to take a few tips from Chef Kashif. He is an executive chef, of course, and so he's now getting started. You ready for us there again?
Yeah, yeah. Let's go. So I was saying, this cut of steak that I have, it's called a tomahawk steak, and it's from the rib of the cow. All right. Um, so I mean, if it's basically the bone that you see here that really gives it that name. And if you remove the bone, you'll get basically the ribeye of the steak. Good marbling. When I say marbling, good fat content on the meat itself. So it's really packed with flavor. I'll be grilling this, and then I'll give you a quick peek of the lobster.
Oh, that's a lobster.
Yeah. So I mean, it's it's a big lobster. I mean, it's probably the length of my forearm, if not longer. But he weighs about 3 pounds. His name is Larry, and he's probably probably 3/4 the height of my of the younger son.
Larry's going to be grilled tonight.
Yeah. So many things I'll be doing with Larry tomorrow. All right, so I'll take you outside where we'll start grilling some of this steak up.
So tell me, how do you prepare the steak, Kashif, before, other than the regular cleaning and stuff like that that we would expect? How else do you prepare the steak before you put it out on the grill?
Um, so what I'll be doing is nice salt and pepper to create a beautiful crust, and then I'll sear it. Actually, I'm gonna grill it. I have a little, you know, a little backyard thing set up here, like back home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So whenever I'm preparing cuts, as a matter of fact, any kind of steak, I always put a nice crust of salt and freshly cracked black pepper. A key thing to remember is when you're preparing steak, you don't want to salt it and leave it for about, any amount of time. If you're going to salt it, it's because you're going to put it on the grill right away. Because what happens, once you salt it, it pulls the moisture out of the steak, and you'll end up with a very dry, almost inedible piece of steak. So the first thing that I always do, just to be safe, is put pepper, freshly cracked black pepper, and then just before I go on the grill, is the salt.
So that's all that's really needed, just some black pepper and
Just
some
just
salt.
just salt. Yeah, because you see this piece of steak right here, Gordon, the fat content in it is is what gives you the flavor of the true flavor of the steak. I mean, you start putting too much seasoning on it, at some point you'll be like, what am I really eating? So once I sear this off, or I should say grill it off, I'll add some fresh thyme, some fresh herbs, and finish it in the oven with a nice whole butter, unsalted butter.
Unsalted butter, you're saying, right?
And don't be scared to use unsalted, yeah, because remember we're generously salting it. And don't be afraid to use salt. Don't be afraid to use pepper, because once you put it on the grill, it's going to wash off.
Oh.
All right.
I did not realize it was that easy when you're preparing steak to be grilled or so. It's just some light black pepper and some salt and allow the fat to really do its job.
Render, yeah, exactly. And you know, everybody likes their steak at different temperatures. Me, I would do, depending on the, like this cut of steak, I would do medium. I know some people like, you know, medium well, well done, medium rare, and things like that. Nothing is
Medium well
nothing
is
is
always
wrong
medium well is always good for me.
with that. You know, just make sure that you very, very well. I'm sorry. Say that again for me.
No, I was saying medium well is my preference. I always like medium well.
Medium. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. So
But there's some
putting
places
some oil there.
you would ask a medium well and you get it well done. So that is something I think a lot of people may not even realize.
Yeah. Yeah. It's borderline. You know. So you see the amount of salt that I'm putting there. Don't be shy. Actually, and this fat cap right here, it will all melt off and give nice, you know, additional flavor. So you see, as soon as I salt it, it's on the grill.
Mm.
And then same thing for the next one. And once your steak goes on the grill, you know, unless you're in a restaurant and you're in a rush or, you know, in some kind of bind and you need to get that steak out at a temperature like medium well or well done, some people would press the steak. But when I put steak on the grill, I just lightly tap it and then let the grill do the rest of the work. I don't want to press any of the juices out or anything. Yeah, so this is going to create a beautiful crust.
So
You'll
how
see
long
exactly what I'm
you
talking about.
grill there?
Um, in terms of timing, I would say about 6 minutes, 6 minutes on each side. Yeah, about 6 minutes on each side.
But is it dependent?
And then I'll remove it.
Is it dependent on the heat? Because there might be some
I'm sorry?
person. Is it that the amount of time you would leave it on the grill? Is that dependent on the heat? Because I know some persons might not have a gas grill; they have a coal grill. So in terms of that,
Yeah, it
how
depends.
do you deal with it?
Yes, yes, definitely. It depends on the heat as well. So I just turn it the other direction to get an even, you know, hatch mark as the chefs would say, which is grilled marks. And then I have, if you want to take a look over here while that's grilling, have an array of vegetables, zucchini, red onions, Spanish onions, some heirloom cherry tomatoes, some Roma tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, some yellow zucchini or yellow squash, cauliflower, oyster mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, and eggplant, or as we say back home, balanche. And then here I have some Hasselback potatoes.
Oh, nice.
And then, yeah, so I slice them and then boil them, and then I'll shallow fry them. So you'll see the finished product
What are you doing
and
with the
understand why
melange? Just grilling it?
everything is getting grilled. Everything is getting grilled. So I'm about to flip this steak.
How do you get a potato like that, Kashif? Because I have seen that in restaurants, and I'm always trying to figure out how they get. I'm not sure what it's called, but how do you get a potato, the sweet potatoes like that?
Yeah, so it's called Hasselback. And what I did was I took I took the raw potato and like, you know, placed it on the cutting board and sliced it before I reached the bottom. But I created a base so it doesn't roll or slide. So it's flat, and then I slice before I slice right through, probably an eighth of an inch before I reach um, through the potato itself, and just maintain that consistency. And this is what you end up with. And once you fry it or bake it, they spread open, and that's why you get the name Hasselback.
Ah,
You see what you see here?
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. So this careful. Yeah, this grill here, Gordon, is no joke.
Because that,
You
that
can,
fire seems to be blazing.
yeah. This is when I did Korean food about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I used the same grill to make the fried rice, and I knocked out the fried rice in no time.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so you see that nice crust here? See, right? Now what I'm going to do is the fat on this end start rendering it. Taking you back to the caveman days, Flintstones.
So what is that process called?
Oh, this is basic. Like this is called a plancha, which is like a flat top, but it's basically a form of grilling. Yeah, it's a form of grilling.
While you're grilling, I'm gonna try this new hop house coming out of Banks DIH. They pay attention to the cooking, and so
Okay.
they sent me some hop house. So I'm gonna be sipping because I can't even steak from a distance. So here's the good steak.
Hmm. All right. I think we're good there on the sear. And I'll show you exactly. Let me just cut this off. I'll show you the final preparation of that before I pop it in the oven. Let me put this fire out. I'll be right back. So, any plans for Father's Day for you tomorrow?
Stay home and relax. Coronavirus. That is the plan. Might take a trip somewhere. I've been trying not to get out too much.
Yeah,
So probably just relax home. That's about it.
that's the name of the game right now. I think many people are anxious to go out.
Probably try some cooking because some of the stuff looks really good that you're doing, but not all the fancy the steak.
I
And
mean,
try the steak.
listen, it's very basic. I can walk you through the steps. Um, this is anything anybody can execute at home. I don't know if you'll be able to get the tomahawk steak from your supermarket. You might be.
Not sure if we'll get it tomahawk, but we'll try to get something.
Yeah. So what I did here, Gordon, was I have a little bit of Dijon mustard and lemon juice, thyme, and parsley, and a touch of olive oil, right? And I'm going to rub this on the steak. And if you look at what's his name? Salt Bay. I mean, everybody should know Salt Bay, the guy who sprinkles the salt in that fancy manner.
I don't have a clue who that is.
Gordon, you're like the only person in the world who doesn't know who Salt Bay is.
He's a big chef or something.
Yeah, he started off as a butcher, as a dishwasher, and then a butcher. Now the guy is just world renowned.
There's a lot of
So
salt. Go Google him.
yeah, Google him, and yeah, you just type in Salt Bay. His cooking is similar to mine. You'll see at the end of the night.
So that is Dijon mustard and what else in that? Lemon juice?
These almost, yeah, a touch of lemon juice, parsley, garlic, and thyme.
Okay.
Yeah. So people would put this on. It's a very a versatile rub, if I may say. You can put it on chicken, fish, any kind of protein um, you want. Just about any type of protein, and it really gives a nice layer of an additional, you know, flavor, complexity, whatever you want to call it. I'll put some chunks of butter here.
So you still have
I
to pop
mean,
that in the oven, Kashif, although it's grilled already. When you put on the Dijon mustard and all of that,
yeah,
you're still popping it
yes,
in the oven.
I have to put it in the oven, yeah, because right now it's rare. I give it a nice crust. So if I cut into that, it's just rare. And believe it or not, some people would eat that steak rare, but I'm not some people.
You're doing it medium rare.
Uh, um, medium rare to medium,
Okay.
somewhere along those lines, yeah. I have to cater to everybody in the household. I think to play it safe, I'll do medium, right? So this is ready, and I'll gauge everything like the vegetables, the steak, and the potatoes. So once I put everything in the oven, I take everything out at the same time. And a very important thing when you're preparing steak, you got to make sure once you're finished cooking the steak, you allow it to rest. Because basically, you remember you're cooking a muscle, right? And what happens is that muscle contracts. So if you cut into that steak, as soon as you finish cooking it, it will, all the juices will drain right out, and you'll feel, you know, it'll be like eating a piece of cardboard. So it's very important for it to rest. You got that?
That sounds like a plan. Allow it to rest.
Allow it to rest. Yeah, just take it out and leave it for about 8 to 10 minutes.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm going to go and start these vegetables now. It sounds like the president is flying over my head. Okay. So next up, I'm going to start grilling all these vegetables off. So here, this is salt, pepper, thyme, and
Salt,
this all
pepper, and
this
just thyme. That's
yeah,
that's all you're gonna
and
use for vegetables.
fresh thyme. And then I have a special sauce which I wouldn't reveal here. I call it I call it the umami elixir. It's a very very special sauce. I'll be bottling it soon and putting it on sale. But I'll be using it on the eggplant and on the mushrooms. For me, when I eat vegetables, especially like the way I'm preparing it right now, I just like nice char, you know, finished with nice fresh herbs and butter. Very simple, very simple. Nothing is um, nothing is bland. I mean, some people may think, you know, oh, just salt, just pepper. This guy is probably cooking some bland food, but you know, you can only take my word for it. All right, so I'll go
So
ahead and start.
remind us again for those persons now joining us. Remind us again of the vegetables that you're about to grill.
Yeah, so this is zucchini, red onions, Spanish onions, some Brussels sprout leaves, some grape tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes. You have a variation of colors, yellow, red, kind of burgundy, orange and stuff. Roma tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, the actual whole Brussels sprouts. Well, I have them. Yellow squash, cauliflower, oyster mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, and eggplant, belange. And then I have
That's a
some
whole lot of
Hasselback
that's a whole lot
potatoes.
of vegetables.
Yeah,
Definitely, you can't eat any rice after all of that.
yeah. Yeah, man. And then, with these two young boys, I gotta make sure that I train them up right.
But
Because you
eating
typically
vegetables.
kids don't like, yeah, exactly. If vegetables is all I cook, they don't have a choice but to eat it. This olive oil garden, this olive oil that I'm using, when I lived in Italy about 10 years ago, the chef that I stayed with, he's the one who produced this olive oil. He makes his own olive oil, cold press, and red and white wine, and also truffle oil. So he was kind enough to send me this like about a month and a half ago.
But any other olive oil could work for those of us
Yeah,
who
yeah,
don't have,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
who don't have the manufacturer
Absolutely.
sending it.
Yeah, this one made me feel very special. I felt important. No, we remained friends, very good friends over the years. Every time he comes to the US, we always connect. The last time he came, I took him to the White House for a visit, and he had a wonderful time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to grill the vegetables again, folks. For those of you now joining us, this is Coast to Coast Cooking. Again, we're cooking with Chef Kashif Browne. He's an executive chef, Guyanese born, living in the U.S. now with his family. They're living in the Washington area, right?
Correct. Correct.
And so he's whipping up something for Father's Day, showing us some ideas for those of you who'll be grilling and cooking and doing all that extra stuff for Father's Day tomorrow. He is giving us a preview and some ideas of some of the things we can be doing for Father's Day.
Yes, sir. Any questions? Anybody is asking any questions that you think I should I should answer?
Okay, well, some folks are asking about some of the ingredients.
Uh-huh.
So I think you just dealt with that. Again, folks, for those of you watching, if you have any questions for Chef Kashif regarding preparations, how he decided on what to use, what not to use, some of basic tips that he could offer you, you can just drop those questions in the comments, and we'll be uh, getting his answers tonight. This is the good thing about going live with this, because we're going to get some answers from him.
I'll answer every question except when I whip out that secret sauce. People are still trying to get the recipe for that sauce garden.
The secret sauce.
Yeah.
So you actually plan to start manufacturing it, putting it out there as your brand.
No. Yes, yes, yes.
It's good.
Yeah. You can use it for any kind of stir fry. You can use it for fried rice. You can use it for grilling. You can use it for, just about any. It's a very, very versatile sauce. It's delicious. Um, I mean, you can use it on anything: seafood, beef, any kind of protein, any kind of protein.
Okay, we have
That's what I love about
Chantel asking about the seasoning of the steak, whether you seasoned it before grilling. What he did is just use some black pepper and some salt.
it. Yeah,
And
black pepper and salt to sear it, and then once I was done, I just rendered some of the excess fat on it, and then I rubbed it with a Dijon mustard mix, which is Dijon mustard, parsley, lemon juice, garlic, and fresh thyme.
we're at,
Completely rubbed it.
uh,
I'm sorry.
I was about to continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then just put some butter on top. It's resting right now. So once I go back inside, it's to pop it in the oven, maybe for about 18 minutes, and then we should achieve the temperature that we want.
So you do some grilling for about 6 minutes before popping it in the oven. We have one of our listeners asking whether you can do the other way around. Can you put the
Ah,
steak in the oven first, then do the grilling?
absolutely, absolutely.
And in terms of the time, the least amount of time, the less time go to the oven.
Yeah, it's all about. I mean, again, your preparation, your preference, and me. I'm all about timing. You know, I once I have a plan in my head, I typically stick with it. Yes, you can definitely si- put it in the oven first and then finish it on the grill.
We have
Right.
Marcia
So
Atkins
that's that.
asking whether you can grill the vegetables all together.
No, you cannot. The reason is that each one of them has a different um, point of cooking. Like for instance, mushrooms. I won't grill mushrooms with uh, like these tomatoes. These are cherry tomatoes because the cherry tomatoes they're gonna blister and get like super soft and soggy. I still like a little texture when I grill it, and then the mushrooms when I grill them for a very long time because when you caramelize it, you want to bring out the sugars, right? You want a nice charred flavor. It brings out an umami flavor. It's not that you can't do it in cooking. There's nothing that you do, and I always like to tell people that there are things that you that you should do and things that you should. For me, cooking has no limits.
Because that's the thing. I've seen people like they go pick up a cooking book and they do everything as is stated in the cooking book. And I've seen other people use the same recipes,
Yeah,
but they add their own little touch, their own variants.
yeah, yeah. And you know, to be very honest with you, I the only recipes I follow is when I'm doing pastries, which is very rare. But aside from that, if you know a chef or I open a magazine or a cookbook or something and I'm cooking savory food, I use that recipe as a guideline. I never follow a recipe. I just need an idea of what the food looks like, tastes like, you know, the basic ingredients, and then I'll take it from there.
We have Rebecca Alley asking if when you pull the steak out of the oven, if there's a need to add any extra seasoning.
No, once you season your steak correctly, there's no need to do anything with that steak.
So once you pull it out of the oven, it's just as you say, relax the steak, leave it out, leave it down for a
That's
bit.
it. Correct, correct. Yeah. So I'll start I'll start blowing through these vegetables and take you guys to a very interesting part.
So tell me something, because I know a lot of folks
Sure.
grill vegetables, and so
Uh
um,
huh.
how do you know when you're not grilling it too much? Because there's always the concern that you cook vegetables too much. At least that's what we've been hearing. You cook
Yeah.
vegetables too much, you overcook them, then you lose nutrients, you lose the value.
Correct.
So how do you
So
decide when it's a good time to pull it back up, pull it off of the grill?
so a big part of it is experience. To be very honest with you, but you see, for me, when I do vegetables like on the grill, um, I would cook them about, let's say, about 75%, right? I just like that nice charred caramelization. That's what I try to achieve. And then I would cook the other 25% in the oven. You'll see the vegetable, if you look at this, like this zucchini right here, it's ready to be served. It's ready to be served because of the thickness of it. It's very thin. Um, I'll probably put this in the oven for about 6 minutes just to make sure that it's served nice and warm. And then what else I have? I have cauliflower, which is going to take a longer time. So you'll see, I put them at different times. Timing in this
And the
thing
melange.
is key. Belange, yes, that's a big man. Um, what I do with this, actually, I'll go and prepare this now. since you mentioned it. Oops. Yeah. All right. So this is a bit of olive oil, right? It's the same olive oil I have in that can. It's just more convenient in that squared bottle. Let me go for the elixir.
Chef Kashi is about to put the eggplant or belange, as we call it back here in
Yeah.
Ghana,
So
on the grill.
here, all I can tell you is that this is a soy sauce base, right?
There's some
A
people who
lot of
don't
people.
like cooking with soy sauce because they complain it gets the food a bit salty.
Exactly.
So how do you decide
Exactly.
with that? How do you
So
decide how much to put?
you see, with cooking, just like anything else, Gordon, balance. Balance is very important. Some people would add sugar, some people would add honey, some people would add agave, and things like that. Um, Again, my base is soy sauce, and I'm sticking to my word of not revealing what else is in my base. But yeah, you can definitely balance out the soy by adding sugar. So let's say 3 parts of soy, or let's say 2 to 1, 2 parts soy, 1 part water.
Hmm. And there's some folks, Kashif, when they're baking potatoes, whether sweet potatoes or the regular English potatoes, what I've seen folks do is boil it a bit in a pot of water before
Uh
they
huh.
put it on the grill. Is that really necessary?
Um, Not really, not really. Unless time is against you. That's what I would say. Why people do it. So if you come, just come a bit closer, and you'll see the grill marks I have on this. See if you get a proper visual there, Gordon.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing the grill marks. Look
Yeah.
really nice on that belange. Although I'm not a big fan of belange,
Listen,
that looks
trust
really
me.
good.
I never used to eat grilled balanje unless, well, I never used to eat grilled balanje. The only way I would eat balanje is when, we do balanje and chicken or balanje and beef and stuff like that back home. But if you get this, magical. Change your life. Ah,
We have one of the person's viewers is asking when you're shopping for steak, how do you
yeah,
know that you're getting the right piece? What should you look for when you're out shopping for steak?
yeah, that's a good question. So, first of all, you need to know what kind of steak you're looking for, whether it's a tenderloin where you get, your filet mignon, or whether you get the New York strip, or whether you get the tomahawk that I'm getting. When you're looking for, and depending on the part of the cow, there's some very lean pieces, there's some very muscular pieces, um, and there's a lot of like fatty, you know, pieces. So some things that you want to look for instance, like a New York strip, or like a, let me see, like a piece of ribeye or something. You want to look for, when you look at a steak, you see white and then you see red, like the fat content. The more fat content you see is the more flavor the steak tends to have. All right. So if you're looking for a lean piece of meat, you want to see less of that fat, less of that marbling. It's like I said, it's called marbling.
Because that's the thing, some people, when they're out shopping meat, especially, they always look for pieces that might not have a lot of fat. But as you were saying, a lot of times the fat content on like steak, can add that
Yeah.
extra the flavor you're looking for.
No, of course. Like um, some recommendations from me is like, if you're looking for like the best pieces of steak that you can You can probably get them in Guyana as well. You can get strip. You can get called you can get the flat iron steak. You can get it's called a hanger or hanging tender, and then there's a piece called the Therese Major. They're all well marbled, beautiful cuts, nice pieces that you would enjoy. You know, the key thing is knowing the anatomy of the cow, because I think I think back home when when we butcher cows, I don't we don't look for these prime these beautiful cuts. It's just a matter of breaking that cow down and just getting cuts of meat to be sold. And I think it's now becoming a bit more common for like butchers and so on to focus on specific cuts of the meat, which is very good. Because let's say, you know, a whole cow costs, I don't know, 50,000. And by the time you break it down and you sell everything back, you make like 25,000. If you break that cow down properly, you can probably make back 10 times.
A
10
$50,000
times.
coin sound too bad.
I don't know what whole cow cost, Gordon.
They're gonna be a very small. They're gonna be a calf.
people people probably judging me right now or laughing at me.
Like his way he's by through.
Ah, yeah.
So
So like this
remind
cauliflower.
us again of what you have
Go
on
ahead.
there.
Oh, so this is cauliflower. For vegetarians, anybody who's viewing that's a vegetarian, I have this on my menu at work that I call the cauliflower steak. So I cut the cauliflower up into about 4 pieces, so it's nice and robust, and just season it well. I serve it with garbanzo beans, which is chana back home, with like a tomato curry base and greens, and just char this cauliflower just like this and put it right on top. And it's the best vegetarian meal you would ever have in probably in your life. It's really, really good.
So that seems to take about 5 minutes on the grill.
Yeah, just about 5, 6 minutes. All right.
I like the fact that you're really showing us
I'll put this.
how to grill vegetables because I always
Oh
tell
yeah.
people with restaurants in Guyana, one of the sad things about a lot of restaurants in Guyana, even the fancy ones, is that when you go out to a nice dinner, you have very limited choices. When you ask like for
Yeah.
vegetables, it's just they think a salad and that's it. But I remember how I fell in
Oh
love
yeah.
when I fell in love with grilled vegetables. It was when I was in Israel,
Hmm.
and I always tell people,
Okay.
well, they have some of the
Yeah.
best restaurants, and everything. You're not sure what you're eating in some instances, but everything tastes so
Hmm.
good. I always encourage folks if you need to
I can
travel,
imagine.
Israel one of your stops because like a restaurant is at every corner. They're big on restaurants, including wine,
Wow.
and so you get to taste everything, and they do everything so really well in terms of their cooking. Not as
Yeah. Yeah.
you do. I saw all this stuff out there in Israel, and I can imagine the taste from over here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to travel certain parts of the world, and you get to see and experience these different cultures and the cooking and just about everything. And that's why I always tell chefs, you know, young and old, because a lot of people reach out to me and connect with me and ask like questions like, "Oh, how are you so good?" or "Why do you do things the way you do it? You're a perfectionist," and things like that. But I always try to tell them, you know,
And it's important too for them to travel because uh, I, I I would say to people too,
very
yeah,
important.
when you travel, um, one of the things, one of the things you remember most times when you travel is the food. You know, you go on a vacation, you enjoy the little beach,
Absolutely,
or you enjoy the little activities, but you always remember the food.
yeah. Correct, yeah. That is so true.
So what are we doing now?
So this now is the oyster mushrooms. They're like hundreds of types of different mushrooms. This right now is the oyster mushroom. And, many times when people cook mushrooms, it's almost like they're poaching it or they're boiling it because mushroom contains a lot of water. It's a sponge, basically. So if you don't give it the right amount of heat and you don't char it or caramelize it, like what I'm doing right now, I mean, some people like it because I think they've never had it another way. But once you have had it caramelized, it will change your life forever. Like I'm very picky when it comes to mushrooms. Like don't don't ever give me mushrooms that are not caramelized. Mushrooms are actually my favorite ingredient.
I'm not a fan of mushrooms. I have to eat it whenever I'm at my brother in New York because he likes cooking and and his entire family are vegetarians.
Yeah.
So it's either you eat or you go hungry. You learn to like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, mushroom is another I guess alternative for protein or substitute for like meat or anything of that sort. Like a lot of people would, go to mushrooms first.
And I know back here in Guyana, people say, oh, it's Jumbie umbrella.
Jumbie umbrella, correct. Yeah, but I mean, cooking is it is difficult, but not as difficult as people think it is. You just have, like I always tell people, if you learn how to control heat, how to use salt and pepper, you can become the next best chef.
One of our viewers is asking, what did you base the mushrooms with?
My umami elixir.
What can they mix it with?
They can use soy sauce, the same 2 part soy sauce, 1 part water, and about maybe an ounce of honey or sugar or something to kind of cut that sodium content. Yeah. So up now, I know garden. It's a lot of vegetables.
So a very, very healthy Father's Day menu.
Yeah, man. People often ask, how are you so skinny and you're a chef? I mean, don't have the best eating habits, but I think I'm disciplined in a sense. And again, it's all about balance.
So these are the tomatoes you're putting on right now.
Correct. Yeah. After the tomatoes, I'll do the onions, Brussels sprouts, and then finish up with the potatoes. Then we'll hit the steak.
Yeah. Again, folks, for those of you who are viewing this Coast to Coast Cooking with Chef Kashif, live from Washington, if you have questions about some of his cooking methods, if you're looking for some advice on something you might be thinking of whipping up tomorrow, you can just drop those questions right at the bottom there in the comment section, and he's gonna do his best to answer as many questions that come in. So you might not be cooking steak tomorrow. You may be cooking something different. He's an executive chef, and he's got a lot of experience, and so he can probably guide you along with some tips. So feel free to ask those questions right at the bottom there in the comment section, and we're gonna get him to answer them as best as he could.
Correct. Yeah. And, I always post a lot of things on Instagram too, so they're more than welcome to check Instagram. I know people I hope everybody on Instagram is viewing on your Facebook tonight. And I have a bunch of loyal followers, so just want to make sure that they tune in. Are you there, Gordon?
Yeah, right here watching the.
Okay. Okay.
I think this house beer getting to me now. I ain't too sure. I ain't too sure what else banks DIH put in this, but I think it's getting to be a bit.
I heard a lot of people talking about it.
It's actually
I
very.
mean, the only.
It's
Okay. Okay.
It's out of the Guinness company, so it's actually very very smooth. I'm not a big beer fan, but this one is
Yeah.
actually very very good.
Okay. Okay. That's nice.
So what is that you're sprinkling now? Some salt?
Yeah, just a little bit of salt on the tomatoes,
Hmm.
and then a little touch more of the sauce.
I know some doctors might be watching this and saying, too much salt, too much salt. Cut back in the
Tell them I
salt.
said it's okay. Tell them I said it's okay.
It's okay.
That's why they still have jobs, right?
So some folks are asking, what is it that he's cooking? Okay, some folks tuning in late. Chef Kashif is whipping up a Father's Day dinner or lunch. He's doing lots of grilled vegetables, and he's also doing some steak. We started the steak already. So for those of you who might have missed the beginning of the show, it'll be posted to this page just after we finish the live. So you can go back and watch from the start. And we'll also post it over on my YouTube page. So you can also go across there and watch it from the start. So you can follow along in case you're thinking of whipping up something similar.
All right. So onions now going on. One of my favorite things to have, grilled onions, Gordon.
Grilled onions?
You grill onions, yeah, grilled onions. You grill them correctly. I mean, to have it with steak, to have it with like chicken, like roasted chicken, or on a hamburger or something, you do it correctly, magical.
And do these have to be a special type of onions?
No, it can be any kind of onions. The key thing with onions, because it has such a high sugar content, you just want to make sure that it caramelizes well. You don't want to burn it, you want to caramelize it. Caramelize is basically when you pop it here and the heat brings out the sugar.
Because a lot of people might be watching this and saying, sugar and onions, I don't taste the sugar, but it's there.
Yeah, correct, yeah. The natural sugars of the onions, for those of you who are wondering. All right, we're almost there. Just the Brussels sprouts left and the potatoes. So, Gordon, when you hear Eldorado steak,
Sound like good
what
rum.
came to your what came? That's what came to your mind, yeah?
Some good 5-year-old.
Good, good, good.
So that's what you're going to be adding to the steak?
Well, let's see.
And once you hear Eldorado, it's either gold or rum. Two things come to mind.
Yeah, I had a shipment of rum come in a couple of days ago, so
Oh, nice.
I might as well put it to use. And a shipment of gold, so we'll see. It might be a combination.
The Eldorado 5-year-old is really good. There's the XM, I think it's 7. The XM 7-year-old is also very good. And
I never had that. Hmm.
that one is really smooth. I've had that one a couple
Okay.
of times. Puts you to sleep like a baby too. It's
Wow.
it's really smooth. The XM 7-year-old, the Eldorado 5-year-old, the Eldorado 10 and 25 are
Hmm.
really, really good. There's another XM rum. I'm trying to remember which one it is. Um, that is also, I think it's 12. It might be the 12. That
12.
is also,
I've had 12 already. 12 is nice.
that sound
12
like
is very
a real,
nice.
you ever sound like a real rum boogie, you know?
Oh, what is it, Sajiwang?
So
Oh
you're
boy.
adding, what is that? You're adding the olive oil again. You're adding,
Yeah, I just want to make sure that because of the caramelization, I don't want the onions to stick to the grill. Yeah, I don't want them to stick. So I'll up the heat on this now.
uh-huh. We have Enrico Wolford is watching, and he's a big cook too. He likes cooking.
Okay, okay.
He's asking, how
Enrico
do you
Wolford. Okay, okay,
maintain
yes.
an even heat with a round flame in the middle?
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
Sorry, he's asking, how do you maintain an even heat with a round flame that is in the middle?
Um, I mean, to answer that question, I guess, is he talking specifically about my setup that I have here, or just like in general?
I think it might be
You
with the
just have to
setup
you have to
because you
keep
have,
your pan.
yeah, I think it might be that setup because of the fact that you have that sort of round, the fire
Yeah.
comes in that round place.
Okay,
The pans are
that's what
much
I thought.
bigger. So how do you maintain an even heat?
Okay, so because I had this skillet right here, or not skillet, but this griddle in the oven, right? So it was very very hot once I put it on, and then every time you see me go low, it's the control. I turn it up and down,
Oh, so
so
you had the,
it spreads in a way.
so remind us again one of that you had in the oven, the pan, the,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so you had it in the oven. So when you place it on the grill, that
It
round
was already
it
it
was
was
already
already hot
into the heat.
and ready to go. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's a shortcut. All right. So onions looking good. Running low on gas, but that's quite okay.
You gotta hurry up.
Yeah, yeah.
Cooking with gas, you gotta
All right, perfect.
again, folks, for those of you now joining us, we're doing some coast-to-coast cooking tonight with executive chef Kashif Browne, a Guyanese, attended the Bishop's High School,
All
moved to New
right.
York, attended culinary school there, worked at the White House. Now he's an executive chef, and he's taking us through some paces of some cooking ideas you can use for Father's Day tomorrow. He's encouraging you to stay away from the rice for tomorrow because you eat rice almost every day, especially here in Guyana. So he's giving us some tips of some of the other things we can do. Lots of vegetables is what he's recommending. And Kashif, if we might not
Yes.
be able to get a lot of the vegetables that you're using tonight
Hmm.
at the supermarket tomorrow, at the marketplace tomorrow, like cauliflower, a lot of places might not have that. What are some of the vegetables that may be more native to Guyana that you would recommend?
You can use pak choy. You can definitely use carrots. You can use bora. What else they have? I'm sure you can get some broccoli there. You can use cabbage, but with the cabbage, you might just want to cut that in like 4 or 6 pieces, and then separate the leaves. You don't want to chiffonade it. When I say chiffonade is a culinary term, which means to chop finely, like shave.
Uh-huh.
So you don't want to chop it finely. you want nice, big pieces. You can even use the regular squash.
And you can grill all of that too?
Green squash you can use. You can, absolutely, you can. The
You
only
know,
thing, what I noticed about that is that the skin. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You finish up.
No, I said the skin. To me, I find that skin to be a bit tougher.
Okay.
So you might want to peel it first before you actually grill it. So here, Gordon,
Uh-huh. What are we doing there now?
these potatoes. So this is the Hasselback potatoes. For the finish, right? Leaving them facing upwards. And then I added some fresh thyme, some nice garlic. And then there's one more thing I'm gonna add once I take it inside.
So and
And
you're
it's
using
basically just to
butter.
get it warm.
You're using butter instead of oil. This is non-salted butter.
Yes. I use a bit of the olive oil and yes, some butter as well. Right. So what I'm about to do now, once I got that butter melted, some nice salt and pepper, a little bit of salt, and I use kosher salt,
They look
kosher
like a
sea
little
salt,
bit.
so it's
It's
bigger
the,
grains.
the special
I use
salt you're using. The sprinkle just okay.
Well seasoned, well seasoned. All right. So good. So I'm gonna take you inside now. So this is nice and warm. I'll make the sauce and then finish this up. So I'll start bringing these inside. It's a bit hotter outside than I anticipated. The regular temperature on top of being in front of that grill. I should have think this one through, Garden.
All right. I know you spoke about pak choi. I was at a border market earlier today to pick up some vegetables, and they had this really
Uh-huh.
nice, the really nice. I don't know what I call them baby pak choi because they were really nice and very small. And I think the lady selling the vegetables,
Yes,
she was saying you can use those for stir fried stuff a lot better than they cook better than the regular size.
absolutely. Yes. So I use a lot of baby pak choy or baby bok choy. I use it very, very often. I actually prefer it over the regular pak choy. So yeah, you definitely can.
So that's the steak we're looking at
I'm just
there.
bringing in
It has been out there for about 30 minutes now, so it should be very rich.
just about. Yeah, so that has not been in the oven as yet, so it's not, it's just sitting there waiting on me. And then when I pop that in the oven, it's going to take about 17 to 18 minutes. I just want to get situated inside. I had enough of that heat.
We have one of our
The
viewers, Rebecca
sacrifices
Smith.
you
She's
make.
asking, why kosher salt? Is there anything special about it?
It's a, it's a preference.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I do not like the iodized or like any kind of fine grain salt. But like I said, it's definitely a preference. I think
So the potatoes are going in the oven still, or
patient.
you're gonna just put it on the stove, regular?
No, they're gonna go in the oven. I'm gonna just get them started on the stove. I'm about to make the sauce to add to the potatoes. So it's basically olive oil, parsley, and some fresh thyme chopped up. And they would call this kind of like a gremolata. Then I'll go ahead and mix it with the olive oil and then add it to the potatoes. I'll put some maybe some Spanish paprika in there. You can add any kind of herbs you want in this. It's just to get more flavor.
And that's onions you're preparing there too?
No onions, no onions.
Okay.
Just garlic, parsley, olive oil.
Tell me something. Is there a special way that you can cut onions and
without
shallot?
making you cry?
Yes, that is my question.
Yeah. Once you get a good one of these, that's the answer right there. You need a very sharp knife.
Okay.
Because what happens is I think your knife is not as sharp as mine, and once you press into these onions, it releases the juices, and that's what's goes directly into your eyes.
Because let me tell you this, what I would usually do is just buy the onion powder, and I know it's not the same thing, but I don't like cutting onions, and they don't come out good because you end up crying and the eyes.
I hear you.
The eyes end up burning for a while, and so.
Gotcha. Yeah. The key, the remedy to that is a sharp knife.
The funny thing.
Nothing in this life don't make me happier than a very sharp knife.
Sharp knife. A funny thing happened to me the other day. I bought some shallot and I bought some onions, and I had some meat in the fridge. I wanted to season it up, so I said I was going to just cut them up and blend them up together so I can make a good seasoning. And as I was doing that, the blender I was using just stopped working. And I had what I thought was a food processor. I got as a gift a year ago. I did not realize it was a juicer, another food processor.
Oh.
And so, I just put everything into it and I started blending. Then my eyes started running. I'm trying to figure out why. Then I saw the juicer was like squeezing the juice out of everything and dumping it in the kitchen. And so
exactly.
That was a hell of a thing. Had me crying for a good
I can
day.
imagine.
Crying for the juice and the cleanup after. So what are we doing there now?
You're rough, man. This is the garlic, olive oil, some freshly cracked black pepper, parsley, and I put some Spanish paprika in there. So this is what I'm about to do.
What's in that little mixture again? It's olive oil, garlic.
Olive oil, garlic, parsley, Spanish paprika. You can use any spice. You can use cumin or jeera, just about anything. Any one of your favorite spices. But you really want those herbs to be in there, and once I put them in the oven, it's gonna open up.
Is what boiling in the back pot? Do we see a back pot on the stove? He ain't sure we yet.
All right, so I'm about to put this you saw that? Steak almost fell. Yeah, so I'm about to put this in the oven. I'm setting a timer for 18 minutes. And then while I'm waiting on that, I'll go ahead and touch the lobster.
Okay.
So timer.
You still trying to figure out what bubbling in the pot there.
Any questions? Which one? This one?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is actually this is the liquid which I'm about to cook the lobster in. It's called a court bouillon. So It's kind of it's like a seafood. It's a stock basically, and it has fresh herbs. It has lemons, carrots, celery, and onions, peppercorns, and then I put some champagne inside.
Mm. So it's Eldorado steak and
People
champagne
use red wine.
lobster.
I mean, I just don't go spreading rumors, Gordon, before people think, I'm some kind of big boy chef eating like this every single day. I could only afford this on Father's Day, and Father's Day is only once a year.
The veggies are looking good. So you still have to put, although you grill the vegetables, you'll still be putting them in the oven.
I have to put them in the oven, yes. So closer to the time when the steak is about to come out, I'm gonna pop them in the oven. So like this right now, the eggplant, I'm probably gonna pop it. I'm gonna give it a nice sear on my regular stove, and then finish it in the oven, along with the onions. But the tomatoes, the zucchini, and the yellow squash, I'm gonna put them all in the oven.
I know you pop the steak in the oven and along with the potatoes, and you said you set a timer on the oven for 18 minutes. Not a lot of people in Guyana use a timer on their ovens. They just pop it in, and when the ancestors say to bring it out,
Yeah.
they bring it out.
Don't pressure the people, man. I mean, I was guilty of that when I lived there and I was back home cooking. But once you become, I suppose, a professional, timing is something that you can't help. Like when we're in the kitchen, you constantly have to have that timer going. The last thing you want to do is burn any food or overcook any food, because what will you say to that customer?
It's done. So what if
when it's done, it's done.
when it's done, it's done. Tell us about the lobster, because I've actually never had lobster. It is not something, though I like some seafood, I enjoy prawns and good shrimp, but somehow lobster is always something I have to sort of build an appetite for, strangely enough.
Where was the first place you've had lobster, and when last you had lobster?
No, I said I've never had lobster. I don't like the look of it.
Oh, you never had? Oh, you never had. Oh, I thought you had it before and then you had like a bad experience or something.
No,
oh yeah, no.
I
mean, lobster is delicious, man. Lobster is delicious. Some people say it's overrated, but I mean, listen, the less you do with it is the better. I see some people would boil the hell out of lobster and then they would grill the hell out of it, and then you're chewing on like rubber band or something.
So if you're preparing lobster, not too much boiling, not too much grilling, not too much baking.
Correct.
Okay, so that's the cauliflower, right?
This lobster that I have, yeah, this is the cauliflower, yeah. So you see I'm giving it a little more caramelization. Here it's achieving some more color. And this is the key to delicious vegetables. This is the key to delicious cooking, caramelization.
Explain for folks who may not have a clue what that means. When you say you're caramelizing it.
Oh, sure. So caramelization is basically when you place, whether it's a protein or a vegetable, any kind of food into a pan, and it brings out those natural sugars because of the heat. It's bringing out the natural sugars of the product. I'm able to see your question. See if I recognize anybody in this life. I know Gavin Dover. it's quite a few people here.
And again, folks, if you're whipping up something tomorrow and you need some ideas on how you can make that better, we've got Chef Kashif here with us, an executive chef. And so he can assist you, though he's preparing his special meal over there in Washington. If you're cooking something different and you're looking for some ideas the day before Father's Day, you can just pop in the comment section there and let us pose a question to him and see how best we can answer it. And so we can, help you out.
Next time I take a trip to Guyana, I gotta prepare this melange and invite you guys to Shay to the restaurant.
Yeah, Shay restaurant down there in the Kitty area.
I don't think my sister has this recipe as yet. I gotta keep this one a secret.
It took some folks a while to figure out the name of the restaurant is Shay.
Oh yeah.
People say XC, they want to go to XC. But Shay, folks, it's a really nice restaurant. If you know where the Kitty Market is, Shay is right across there. Kashif's sister, she's also a chef and she owns that restaurant. I know now the restaurants are not allowing dine-in, but when things open back up and get back to normal, it's a really nice restaurant for you folks to check out. They have really good food there all the time. Good evening, Keisha. She's probably watching, right?
I would hope, every weekend I have to beg her to support my life. Every single weekend. You would never believe that's my sister. All right.
Tell me something. Guyanese are big on chicken. If someone is cooking, thinking about doing something special with chicken tomorrow, they have some nice chicken breast or they have a whole chicken, what would some of your recommendations be?
I'll be very honest with you. I don't like chicken breast. I'm more of a chicken thigh person, but I'm more than happy to give the recommendations on chicken breast. So what you can do with what I would do with chicken breast is I would slice it thinly, probably and pound it out lightly. Put plastic over it, just lightly pound it. And if you have breadcrumbs, a nice seasoned breadcrumbs, or you can put any kind of seasoning you want in there. Pound your chicken breast, put a little bit of flour on top, dip it in some egg batter, and then in the breadcrumbs, and then pan fry it. Or you can bake it. That's how I like chicken breast. Now, if you're gonna do, go ahead.
I was asking about the whole chicken.
Yeah, and now if you're gonna do a whole chicken, what I always tell people is to brine the bird, brine the chicken. A brine is basically like a saline solution, heavily salted, and you can have it in there for anywhere from about 4 to 6 hours. Once you finish with that, you season it. No salt and pepper because you brined it already. Put your regular home seasoning, and then you bake it at low temperature, which is about 285 degrees, for about an hour and a half, and then 400 for another 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. And the reason for that, right? Listen to this carefully. The reason for that is you don't want to cook the chicken on high temperature because you're going to dry out the chicken. It's going to overcook. You don't want an overcooked piece of chicken. You want to cook it low and slow so it remains juicy. And the last 15 to 20 minutes on high temperature is to achieve a crispy skin.
Mm. One of these days when you do one of these sessions, I want to do something on roast pork. Like
roast pork? Oh yeah.
Yeah, for some reason, if you stew pork or you curry pork, I cannot eat it. But if you pop that pork nicely into the oven and roast it, I would say to my sisters or my mom, give me the meaty part, the beefy part.
I hear you.
So maybe that is something we can look at too, because I know a lot of folks might be, popping a piece of pork in the oven tomorrow or on the grill of a Father's
Yeah.
Day.
You ever had pork belly, Gordon?
No, I can't remember.
Ah, listen. If you the day you eat a proper pork belly,
Mhm.
trust me, you don't want any other part of the pork um to deal with. Pork belly is like the best part, the best part.
Low in fat?
High in fat.
Oh.
Don't worry, all the doctors that are watching will take care of you.
Someone is asking about the herbs that you're using for the potatoes that are in the oven.
Oh, the herbs. That was parsley, fresh thyme, fresh garlic, little. What else did I use? Yeah, that was basically it. And then I just added some olive oil. So you see these vegetables, how it's nice and caramelized. You were at the last dinner I did at Sheshe, right?
Yep, I was at that
You
dinner, saw
remember?
that photographs.
You remember those onions that I did?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, same principle here. Cooking it down all the way down. Um, I mean, the air fryer is really good. The one that I have cannot accommodate a whole chicken.
Uh-huh.
But if you have one, somebody is asking a question and I was able to see it. Um, so if you have an air fryer that, yeah, if you have an air fryer that can hold a whole chicken, by all means. And I would just, do it at the temperature that they recommend.
What about a nice piece of fish? Someone's saying they're not big on chicken for Father's Day. They
Hmm.
would think of doing a nice piece of fish.
Oh yes, you can do like a nice piece of snapper. You can do a nice piece of butterfish, or a nice piece of tilapia. even hasa. No, I'm kidding. Might put somebody in trouble there. But yeah, you season how I season my fish. I try to keep it nice and simple. Believe it or not, I have the Guyanese green seasoning. The ones that we grind up.
Hmm.
We bring back every time. So I would season it with that. Just add a nice few slices of lemon, some nice, even more thyme, probably some slices of onion, and then I would sear the fish first in a hot pan like this that I was just using. Put the fish on there, sear it on both sides, and then finish it in the oven. Just finish it in the oven. And fish does not take long to cook, guys. Right? So this garden, all my vegetables are basically ready.
Okay, so you're putting all the vegetables. I know when you grill them separately, but now that you're popping them in the oven, you're putting all in the one pan there.
Yeah, and this is just to reheat them. This is just to reheat them. So
Okay.
right now, yeah. So what I'm going to do right now is finish up. I didn't get to touch any Brussels sprouts, but I still want to put it in the mix because I love Brussels sprouts. And Keanu just came down, and he is obsessed with Larry the lobster.
Does he know he has to eat Larry the lobster?
He said he doesn't want to eat it, and he's asking me not to put it in the aquarium because we have a little aquarium here with the betta fish. So he said, Daddy, please don't put it in the aquarium because he will eat Steve. Steve is the name of the fish.
Oh,
And he also asked me to buy a lobster so that Larry can get company.
okay. Larry will get company, all right. Just
Oh
not
yeah,
in the aquarium.
I'm not a company he wants, but
So what is that you're popping in to the pan now? What is that?
so this is Brussels sprouts. It's like a miniature cabbage.
Hmm.
And these, a lot of people would blanch them. When I say blanch, mean meaning put them in boiling water and then cook them again. I don't like doing that. I like to cook them from a raw state in a saute pan, again because of caramelization, and you get a much better texture. I saw Mrs. Reese watching. That's one of my classmates' mom. She just wished me happy Father's Day. Thank you, Mrs. Reese.
So again, we're doing lots of vegetables. We've got Brussels sprouts. We've got
I just threw a piece of garlic in there.
and is that garlic?
Yeah, I just threw a piece of garlic in there, and then just finish up with some black pepper. I'm just going to check on this. I'm going to check on the steak right now, Gordon. All right, it's still about. It's a pretty big. Yeah, it's a big piece, so it will take about. I'll put another 8 minutes, just to be safe. Put some olive oil. Am I boring you yet?
People are enjoying the cooking. Some folks are asking about when you'll open your own restaurant in Guyana.
Yeah, once you know, once the world is happy again. Vanessa, oh hi, Auntie Vanessa, thank you.
So how long do you have to keep the Brussels sprouts on the fire, and will the stove be at like minimum heat or something?
No, I have it on high heat, and once this starts to look like burnt almost like this, but even more, then I'm gonna it's almost like shallow frying it, because carefully here I put it on a rack. I put the vegetables on a rack, right? And all that fat that I'm using, the butter, the olive oil, everything is going to drain once I reheat it. That's the trick to my cooking. Because I know a lot of people might say, oh yeah, he uses a lot of butter, he uses a lot of oil and things like that. But that's the key to delicious food, if anybody really knows. Yeah. All right. So you have about 5 more minutes. This lobster is just staring at me, and he's looking very, very, very angry right now. You still on that hot beer, Gordon?
I have an entire case. One day at a time. One day at a time. Following up with some good lobster.
All right. So the Brussels sprouts are just going. So now I'll just turn this on low and have that sitting here. Let me deal with this lobster, because I think I'm getting more impatient more than anything else.
This is the beginning of the end of Larry Lobster.
Yes. Typically, I would put this lobster in the pot whole, but because he's so big, I'm not able to fit him in a pot, right? So what I'm about to go and do is just break him. That's Keanu saying his goodbyes.
Hey, Keanu.
Keanu Gordon said hello. Say hello.
Hi.
You gotta wave this way. Look, you have to wave that way. Say hello.
Hi.
Yeah. So if you come closer, Daddy is about to break down Larry.
Daddy, I think you're not being mad anymore.
Yeah, he's not mad anymore.
I think I'm not being mad anymore.
All right.
Right, Daddy?
All right. So I just turn him over, and I'm gonna take his legs off. Oh. This is a big boy. Are you okay? Sorry. All right. So I'm about to put the claws inside. And next up, and one of the good parts about doing lobster like this is that inside here, stuff that when you cook it and you pull this tail out, it kind of like messes up your tail if you don't do it correctly. Right? So I'm about to do the lobster for about 12 to 14 minutes. Do everything for about 12 to 14 minutes. Right?
Mama, I want to see.
You want to see? Hold on, let me lift you up. Yeah, give me 1 second.
So Larry the
I
lobster.
thought Keanu would have taken it to heart when he saw. Yeah, Larry the lobster is done. All
So
right.
how long would you need to leave it in that pot of boiling water and so?
For about 12 to 14 minutes because of its size. It's not your everyday lobster. So this is a lobster on steroids. You want to see his head? All right, give me 1 second. Just gonna get back situated because I'm about to pull the steak. So the way I'm, Gordon, sometimes I would do like
Go ahead again, Kashif.
like that. Right, I'm refraining from that. Sometimes
We
I would
missed
do the
that. We
fancy
missed that.
plating and things like that.
We had a little break there. Just go over again. You were saying sometimes you would do what?
The fancy plating of the dishes, of the food. But tonight we're going to do like buffet style, which is going to be, somewhat basic. But I think, you'll still enjoy it. It's really hard to plate. It's not hard, but I want people to see, oh, perfect. So this is exactly how the Brussels sprouts should be. And then I'm still gonna put this in the oven. I'm gonna finish that in the oven. So the timer for the steak went off. Step back. For a smaller lobster, about 8 to 10 minutes. All right, perfect. Yeah. Some people use a thermometer. I use my hand, my finger, just to tell. Okay. Careful, Nanu. All right. So I'm about to pop this inside the oven now. At
So
lower temp, probably about 300.
okay. And
Say
how
that.
long?
Say
How
that
long
again.
in there for?
So I'm lowering the temperature so it just stays warm. I'm not cooking anything any longer. So I'm gonna put that in there for about like 230 degrees just to keep it warm. And again, it's all about timing. So this is what's going to happen. By the time I'm ready to address the steak, right, the vegetables are gonna be ready. The potatoes are ready. And then once I cut the steak and start plating everything, everything is gonna be served nice and hot. So while we wait on all of this to happen, lobster is going, I'll make what is called a chimichurri sauce. So if you wanna come over here and get a quick look.
A chimichurri sauce? What is that?
So
used for?
chimichurris. So chimichurri sauce is, it goes with any kind of charred meat or any kind of seared or grilled meat. It's basically parsley, a little bit of garlic, oil, lemon juice, red wine vinegar. All right. And then you just puree it. You'll see. It's very popular in like Latin cuisine or like Spanish cuisine. I'm just missing a little bit of garlic. You don't want too much garlic. Olive oil. So a big part of it is olive oil. And then what I usually do, I use this nice organic brown sugar. And because of the acid, the amount of acid in there with the vinegar, I just put a pinch of sugar to balance things out. All right. You want to see the lobster head?
Yeah.
Okay, in a second. All right, so I just turned the lobster off. So by the time I'm finished making the sauce, I'm gonna pull it out. I'll show you what this chimichurri looks like. So because it's such a small quantity, I'm using the NutriBullet, right? It's not working. So because I want to retain that nice, vibrant green color garden, I'll just put 1 cube of ice.
1 cube of ice?
So 1 second.
What is the ice for?
It's to help retain the color, the nice bright green.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah. Yep. You're welcome, Gordon.
Putting ice? Why would you putting ice?
Yeah, so anytime you go to a restaurant, right, and they serve you like nice, vibrant looking vegetables, what they do is they blanch them and then they shock them. Blanch is you put it into a pot of boiling water with salt and maybe some herbs. You remove it and instantly place it in another container of water with ice, like ice cold, and it helps to retain that color. Anytime you see vegetables and they're cooked and they're just like they're not as vibrant, they just look pale, is because they took them from out the hot water and just like run them under some water or just had them sitting out. You can tell that they didn't shock them, put them in ice.
We have someone asking if there's any special red wine needed for the sauce that you're making.
Oh no, this is a red wine vinegar, not red wine per se, red wine vinegar.
Okay.
Oh wow, this is good.
Someone is also asking if you could use ice when you're grinding regular seasoning.
There's no need for that. I mean, you can you can, but I mean, if you're gonna do that, maybe because you're using a machine to chop or grind the seasoning, and usually if you use a machine, it generates a lot of heat, right? So ice is gonna cool it down. But to retain color, there's no need for that because you're gonna cook, you're seasoning it, and then you're gonna cook the hell out of whatever you're cooking anyway. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the sauce is going to be used as what? Explain to us.
This sauce is going to be used on the steak and with the grilled vegetables. It's a very, again, versatile sauce, and it you know, it pairs really well with anything that's grilled or charred or roasted. You have, like, if you go to a Brazilian, like if you go to the Brazilian restaurant and you have their charred meat, and you ever eat it with some of this chimichurri that I'm making, you know, it's amazing. It pairs really, really well.
There's this thing that the Brazilians do. I had it in Toronto, where they bring out the meat on this. I don't know what it's called, but they bring it to the table and you slice off, and it was cooked with some nice pineapple and so.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. There's a restaurant here that does it, and it's called the name of the restaurant is called Fogo de Chão. Yeah, they do it. The Argentinians do a similar thing, and it's called what the Argentinians do is called churrasco.
Okay. So there's Larry coming back out?
Larry coming back out in a different fashion. So what I'm about to do with this tomorrow is make
say that again, Kashif. I think we lost you for a bit. What are you going to do tomorrow?
Undecided. Yeah, I'm probably going to make some lobster rolls or something like of that nature tomorrow. You see? That's his head right there. You see? So yeah, it's very hot, so be careful. So I'll just allow this to cool. Once it's cooled, I'll break it down. I'll probably do a video of how I'm breaking it down. As good as Gordon Ramsay, if not better. And then I'll post it.
Of course, folks, you can follow Kashif on Instagram. He does a lot of live videos and showcase a lot of good food cooking across there too. And you can follow him on Instagram, and his Instagram name is @FarmerBrown45, right?
Yes, 045, correct, 045.
@FarmerBrown, Brown with an E to the end, @FarmerBrown045. You can follow him on his Instagram page. Get some of the cooking tips, and you'll get a lot of ideas from some of the stuff he's doing here.
Correct. All right. So let me see if steak is ready. Great. So this steak is around medium.
Uh-huh.
And the way I'm about to prepare it, I cannot have to let Sulan give you some other form of entertainment, whether it's to interact with Keanu, because this part is very, very intricate, very special. Yes? So I'll see you in about 1 minute.
Hey, Keanu, how are you doing?
Keanu, Gordon is asking, how are you? What are you supposed to say? What are you supposed to respond? Okay.
You want to be a chef too? You want to be a chef like Daddy?
he just said that's enough.
He's fascinated by the lobster.
Yeah.
So again, folks, tonight you're joining us on Coast to Coast Cooking.
And his little brother wanted to. Yeah.
And we're doing some cooking with Chef Kashif Browne. He's doing Eldorado steak. He's also doing some grilled vegetables. And for those of you who might now be joining us, you can go back and see how he did everything from scratch, because that's what he's been doing. We've been doing for just about the past 2 hours. We started off with the steak, then we got the veggies, and so we're about to come to the end of everything. As you can see, his little son Keanu is, he's going to be the one in charge of the lobster apparently. So he's also adding that touch to it. You can follow him on Instagram at Farmer Brown 045. That's Brown, Browne. Farmer Brown 045. Other stuff that he made, ideas from some of that also. So right now we're preparing for the grand finale because we need to add the Eldorado to the steak, right?
Correct. Yeah. Like I told you, I imported some the other day. So I'm just this is a good way of, because I cannot drink it, you know, I'm able to use it in other forms.
You don't drink Eldorado?
Here and there. Here and there.
Okay. It's good for mental health and stability.
You know, that's what they say. But sometimes it makes things worse for me.
This guy, you need to see, can't hold your liquor.
Keanu, what's going on? Come over here with me. Let me show you something. Give me 1 second there. Almost done. Yes? This part I have to like control even down to my breathing. Yeah, 1 second. Keanu asked me like 50,000 questions before we went live today, Gordon.
About what you're cooking and so? So remind us what you're waiting to do now.
Yeah, so I'm just doing the final touches. I'm adding some of my Eldorado specialty. Like I mentioned earlier, I had an import over the last couple of days, so just finishing up. And this is for all the fathers out there. You know, sometimes I want to say that the fathers are forgotten. you know, I don't think we get the same treatment as mothers, which I completely understand. But tonight I'm gonna represent all the fathers.
What has it been like for you, Kashif, being a father? You know, tomorrow is Father's Day, a very special day. What has uh, fatherhood been like for you? You got two sons.
Yeah, yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. I mean, completely different outlook on life and everything. Just true happiness, you know. Boys, the kids, like I never understood. Well, like when my mom used to tell me, or you know, tell us she loves us, I never understood how serious and you know what she meant until I got my own kids. So it's definitely a wonderful experience. All right, Gordon. Um,
Should we do the drum roll?
so sure, Kiki, what's going on? Keanu, what? Okay.
What drums we have here?
All right. So you guys can start doing a drum roll. And then here you have your Eldorado steak.
What just happened?
This just happened. So this is the Tomahawk steak wrapped in all gold. Edible 24 karat gold.
That looks interesting.
Yes.
What we
So
were
the only other person you probably would do something like this is the guy Salt Bay.
Mm.
And I think he
We're not hearing you, Kashif.
Hold on, let me up the volume a bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you about it now.
Yeah. Something connected? I think I'm.
So you wrap this. You wrap the steak after taking it out the oven with the edible gold.
Just give me one quick second there, Gordon. I think just trying to get you back there. Where's this one?
For those of you who are now joining us, we're doing some cooking across the miles with Chef Kashif Browne, Coast to Coast Cooking, and he's preparing something that fathers can enjoy tomorrow. Of course, he was giving some tips earlier on some things that you can do with some of the local ingredients. And if you're not big on steak, you're popping a chicken in the oven, or you're dealing with some pork or some fish. He was also giving us some tips earlier on that. So again, once the broadcast is finished, you can just go back and press replay, and you can follow through some of the steps and some of the tips that he was offering us.
Sure. Okay, Gordon. So my vegetables are done. So I'm just going to plate this up as we would eat it at the table. Keanu, just step back for daddy for one quick second. Thank you. Let me get my original slicing knife.
Hey, that's a nice knife.
It is a nice knife.
Right?
Yes.
And the steak gets medium rare or medium well?
This is medium, Gordon.
Okay, medium.
Yes, sir. All right. And then now I'll just go ahead and add some nice vegetables here to show you how, you know, this is just a very rustic look.
Yeah.
Nothing super fancy, and it's definitely stuff that you can do at home.
And that's the belanja you're adding first, right?
Correct, correct, yeah. And then to give that a nice little contrast, I'll add the tomatoes. All right. And in cooking, they always say less is more. You don't want to do too much with your food.
Yeah, good.
Again, a little bit of cauliflower. So hopefully you can replicate this tomorrow, Gordon.
Ooh. They got some. They got one or two places selling some nice baskets. That'll probably do.
Yeah,
This looks really good, though.
Yes, yes.
I
Right.
Daddy, Daddy.
And then I'm gonna add the Brussels sprouts along with the potatoes. And this is dinner for two.
And is that dinner?
Yes, this is dinner.
I want a big dinner.
Yeah.
Big.
All right.
Daddy, I like chicken.
So this is the special Father's Day dinner that I was really urging everybody to
I'm gonna have them.
watch.
I'm gonna fold this. I'm gonna fold this spoon.
And now I'm gonna top it off with some of my chimichurri sauce.
Hey, that's cool.
Right?
Cool, Daddy.
Just put,
Oh.
oops, I lost the potato. I guess that one is mine. Yeah, so there's a nice balance of of color, everything. Let me just take it over for you.
Let's go. So,
See if you got a nice visual over there.
That looks really, really good.
feed me. Mommy, I want the chicken. Right? Mommy, look.
So that's the Eldorado steak, done medium, with lots of grilled vegetables, everything prepared from scratch this evening by Chef Kashif Browne. Again, we've been doing this for the past 2 hours, and it was really good to see everything being done from the very start. So I would encourage you to, when we finish with the video, when we finish with the live, you can go back and watch from the top for those of you joining us late, and those of you who might have missed the opening, to go back from the top, watch it if you want to follow the steps. He offers a lot of great insights and a lot of great ideas for preparing steak, for preparing
Mommy, I want this.
even for preparing lobster.
And I want this.
Yeah, we're gonna eat in a
And
second.
you're done doing the grand finale now.
All right. Let me hold on. So this is the true grand finale.
Mm-hmm.
However, I must say he is not tasting my food because last week he embarrassed me on Instagram Live. So no food for you today.
What did he do last week?
I gave him some ice cream and he made the worst he had the worst expression on his face. But he had just woken up. That's just me making excuses, yeah?
Let's try to eat some food.
All right. Yeah, and yeah, Gordon, this is it. Kian, you want to take a bite? Good, good. No? Yeah? Bye. Yeah, so the three of us will be dining. It's good? Good. Approved.
It's,
All right,
it looks really good. We can only imagine what it tastes like from across these miles.
And you know, I always say, like, if a kid can approve my food, I don't care about anybody else's opinion. Because kids tell the truth.
That is the absolute truth. So again, take us back through as we get ready to wrap up, Kashif, of what you prepared tonight. Give us a menu of what you prepared tonight, the Father's Night dinner.
Sure. So I did an array of grilled, roasted vegetables. They were glazed with a nice umami soy sauce, a delicious soy sauce. Some of those vegetables consist of cauliflower, tomatoes, potatoes, a variety of mushrooms, eggplant or belange, onions. And then I did a beautiful grilled tomahawk steak wrapped in 24-karat gold.
Sounds and look really, really good. And, you know, we know it probably tastes a whole lot better than we can even imagine. So we'll keep you to that promise that the next time you're in Guyana, we're gonna plan a big dinner. You know,
Yes.
Charge a nice price, and you're gonna do some of your best meals.
Yes, definitely.
Carol, I can touch you.
Thank you very much, Gordon, for hosting this tonight. And then I guess I'll keep you posted, or we'll be in touch with the next live. I have to do something that's gonna top this.
Definitely. Well, thanks a lot, Kashif, again. A very happy Father's Day to you. Thanks a lot to your beautiful wife, Dr. Sulan Fang Brown, who was doing all the camera duty tonight.
Thank you very much.
And
thank you very much to everyone for viewing, and also the Father's Day wishes. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a great Father's Day, Kashif. And again, folks, thanks a lot for being with us tonight. Reminding you that you can follow Chef Kashif Browne on Instagram. That's where you can see a lot of the food he prepares. At Farmer Brown, Brown with an E to the end. Farmer Brown 045 on Instagram, or you just type in Kashif Browne and you're going to find him there. And of course, we're going to do this again, the Coast to Coast Cooking. But in the meantime, you can head across his Instagram page and see some of the great menus, some of the good ideas, and all of that. So once again, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to you, Kashif. We really enjoyed this, and we hope you guys are going to have a good Father's Day.
This stuff is so good.
Take care.
Thank you very much, Gordon. You take care.
I guess green stuff is so good.